In a previous video, I discussed how we were able to accurately reproduce these angled lines that you see here simply because we knew some linear dimensions, and we simply just connected the endpoints of the angled lines to the existing lines. So that's one way to accurately reproduce angled lines, but you won't always have the benefit of being able to connect angled lines to the endpoints of existing lines. So you have to figure out other ways in AutoCAD to draw angled lines, and one of the ways is through the use of polar tracking, which we've discussed briefly, but we'll go into more detail now. So before we do that, though, I want you to turn to 128, page 128 in your Technical Drawing with Engineering Graphics textbook by Gasecki, 14th edition, and you'll see a section there on triangles. And I just want to kind of point your attention to the kind of looks like spokes of a wheel there. And basically, drafters used to be able to accurately reproduce incremental angles using a t-square and a 45-degree triangle and or a 60-degree triangle. And just the t-square was turned where it, if you were to draw a line along the t-square, it would create a 0-degree line. And the triangles were laid in such a way on the the triangle on the t-square that just the way that the triangles were turned, they were able to reproduce these other angles and in 15-degree increments all the way around through a full revolution. So AutoCAD has a similar tool, or you're able to reproduce lines similarly in AutoCAD using this tool, polar tracking. So make sure that your polar tracking is turned on, and it's blue if it's turned on, it's gray if it's not. And go to right click on that button and go to settings, and you'll see under polar tracking on, you'll see polar angle settings and then increment angle. And most of the time I have mine turned to 15 degrees, okay? And it's an increment. That means that every 15 degrees, 0, 15, 30, 45, 60, all the way around, with this increment angle, AutoCAD tries to track toward that angle. And and again, you can change it to one of several different increment angles here, but I keep mine on 15 because it comes in handy with a lot of the standard angles. For example, if I wanted to create a 60-degree angle, I could use a 15-degree increment angle because 15 divides evenly into 60. Okay, or if I wanted to draw a 30-degree angle, 15 divides evenly into 30, and so that's why 15 comes in handy. But just as easily, I could choose 10 because 10 degrees divides evenly into 60 degrees, and 10 degrees divides evenly into 30 degrees, or 40 degrees, or 50 degrees. So it kind of depends on what you're working with, but 15 seems to work very well for me. So most of the time when my polar tracking is turned on, I have it on a 15-degree increment angle. So I'm just going to go ahead and select these settings and select OK. So if I want to draw a line at 0 degrees, I just want to enter the line command and click anywhere in model space. Okay, and if you have your polar tracking turned on, you should see a green dashed line when you pull your crosshairs to the right. And next to my crosshairs, you see the 0-degree mark indicating that the polar tracking is tracking to 0 degrees. So if I wanted to draw a line 10 units long on the 0 degree, I would just simply type in 10 and then enter. Okay. And you can do this with any angle. So let's say I wanted to do 15, okay? And when I see the 15 tracking, I can just type in 10. I can do the same thing with 30. So all these lines are exactly 10 units long. But this is 0 degrees to the horizontal, 15 degrees to the horizontal, 30 degrees to the horizontal, and as you can see, these angles are increasing as I go clockwise around, and my 0 degree is here. Okay, so if I wanted to draw a line that was 45 degrees below horizontal on this side, okay, one way to do that is I could start off my line, okay, and I could track all the way around until I count up to 225. Okay, and again, if I track all the way around to straight up, that's 90. If I track straight to the left, that's 180. Straight down is 270, and all the way back around is 360 or 0. So if I want to go 45 degrees below the horizontal here, that would be 180 plus 45. So I could actually watch the tracking as it goes around if I want to, or I could just shortcut, start off at 180 and then track down 195, 210, 225. Okay, so there were 3 increments past the 180 where I was able to get to the 45 degrees below the horizontal, and then I can just type in 10 and then enter. Okay, I do want to point something out. It's not to confuse you. I just want you to be aware. You know, all these are nice and neat angles. So this is 0 degrees, 15, 30, and I'm pointing out the properties palette here. 225. Okay, so let me just say that, you know, if I were to draw a horizontal line from right to left, 10 units long, this would be 180. Okay, it looks just like this one, but this one's 180 simply because I drew it from right to left. So just like I was pointing out over here, if this line were drawn from this point, this line would be 180 and this one would be 0. So I just wanted you to be aware that the direction that you draw the line has a direct impact on the angle measurement. So don't want to throw you a curveball there, but just wanted you to be aware of it in case you later on clicked on the properties palette and go, oh, that's not what I thought it was. So anyway, I hope this helps you out with polar tracking a little bit, and this is the conclusion of the video.